Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the Public Safety Committee meeting to order for tonight, 7:34 p.m. Our first item, receipt of the reports for item 1A, our police chief, Chief Saban.
Yes, good evening, everyone. How are you?
Good evening.
Attached, as Commissioner said, is the October 2025 Police Department report. Are there any questions in the submitted report?
Any questions at all? Let's see. I see no hands up, Chief. You might get out easy pretty tonight. No questions for the Chief? Chief, anything that you want to add to your report before we move on?
Just one other. I have one other item for new business. So I can get to that when we get to that part. If you want me to do it now, I can do it now. It's just about our test coming up.
Okay, we'll do it at new business.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, great. So I'm going to call for the approval of item 1A, the police chief report for October 2025. Mr. President?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Thank you. Thank you, Chief. We're going to move on to item 1B, which is a fire marshal's report for October 2025. Mr. Lynch? I don't see him on here.
Where is Scott?
I don't think he's on.
They did have a call. A call went out probably about 20 minutes ago, so he might be on that.
He's probably on a call. Okay. So
actually, I was gonna say, I think he's out very sick without a voice. So,
all right. So if there's any questions, just please email him in reference to his report. So I'm going to call for the approval of item 1B, the fire marshal's report for October 2025.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We're going to move on to item 1C, the emergency medical service chief. Ms. Bartos, I see that you're on.
Hello, everyone.
Yes. Good evening.
Does anybody have any questions about my submitted report?
Let's about that report. Not seeing any. Before we vote, anything you want to add?
Yes. The memberships have gone out. I have been fielding many phone calls over the past several days. So they have gone out. And hopefully that will be an easy situation. We also have the Plymouth Ambulance Toy Run that is happening on Saturday. That we have gotten a significant amount of toy donations. And we are very, very grateful to the community for the toy donations. If you, we're going on Saturday, so if you have any other donations that you would like to make, please drop them off to EMS or the police department before then. And just to give everybody an idea of, I don't know, can you see all of them?
Fantastic.
We've got a huge amount of donations, so this will make some kids very, very happy this season. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And thanks everyone for donating. Hey, Jessica, real quick, you said you're getting a lot of phone calls from what went out. Is there a particular question that you're seeing over and over and over again in reference to that?
No, it's generally just explaining what it is.
Okay.
And then a lot of people are calling about wanting to pay for their membership via credit card, and I have to direct them to the company to pay. But that's all been.
Is there a way for them to pay with credit card? I should have looked. I looked at mine's there. Is that a selection or do they only have to pay by check?
So there is a letter that has the website that they can go to pay for their membership, so that they can fill out the appropriate information.
Right.
And that is included in the letter that is in with the packets. And they can also, it has the phone number for the billing company, so that they can call them with any membership questions. And the form to fill out is just 4 checks.
Do you think you're getting more by check or by credit cards, would you say? Or is sort of 50?
I have no way of knowing at this point because they don't come to us. So we just kind of have to wait until we see what's going in. But I do know that a lot of people are very grateful for the credit card option. It makes it just easier on them.
Fantastic. Commissioner Norris, I saw your hand up, sir.
No, thanks, sir. I had the exact same question that you asked. So
thank you. All right, Jessica, any additional items?
I think that's all we have.
Okay. Great. Fantastic. Thank you very much for your report. So I'm going to call for the approval of item 1C, the Emergency Medical Service Chief's report for October 2025.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. We're going to move on to 1D. Now it's the Emergency Management Coordinator report for November 2025. Ken Hillendorf. No, I know you thought I was going to say something else.
I was waiting for that. I have nothing to add to the report. Do you have any questions on the report?
Any questions at all?
The only
No questions? Go ahead,
two
Ken.
quick things to add. One is, as a reminder to the board, we will, in the case of snow, ice, or whatever, we will keep the emergency management Facebook page up to date between myself, Lauren, and Kim. And we would ask that you copy that, as has been done in the past, to your personal pages. And we're also in contact with the school district, so we'll have their information posted there. We would ask you to use that source rather than something else. And just to wish everybody a happy and safe holiday season.
And we always thank you for what you do for our residents when the weather gets a little nasty like this. And your humor does not go unnoticed also. So just want to let you know that.
Thank you.
If there's no questions for him, I'm going to ask for the approval of item 1D, the Emergency Management Coordinator report for November of 2025.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. So we're going to move on to item 2 now. The committee meeting minutes. The fire board met on November 6th, and those minutes are attached. I know Commissioner Ziegler-Feld has followed up with them a lot. Any questions in reference to the fire board's minutes? And I know Scott's not here. Commissioner Ziegler-Feld, is there anything you want to add in reference to the fire board?
Only the importance of moving forward on the rebid of the fire training area and getting that done. I've mentioned it frequently, and it continues to be a concern for all 4 of our fire companies.
And that's the training on
That's the fire training area. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, that's noted. So we're going to move on to the approval of item 2A, the fire board minutes for November 6th, 2025.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Traffic calming did not meet in November. Now for tonight's meeting, are there any old business anyone wants to talk about at all? No old business? All right, so we're going to move on to new business. We have a couple things to vote on tonight, and that's item 4A, review of a proposal by Bowman regarding traffic patterns on Rice's Mill Road, Barker Road, and Deaver Road, and Greenwood Avenue, resulting from PennDOT Church Road, Greenwood Avenue intersection improvement project. Who's going to take the lead to discuss this? Would this be you, Chief, or Allison?
I'll start us off. If anyone wants to jump in, feel free. So we have received a number of complaints and concerns about the traffic patterns due to the intersection improvement project at Greenwood and Church Road. So we have taken a look internally at the staff level and had some suggestions, but we felt that having Bowman, our traffic engineer, take a look at it and do a little bit more in-depth study and maybe make some recommendations of things that maybe we weren't seeing. So their report is attached. We had looked at things such as making Barker and or Deaver one way, looked at stop signs, looked at a number like restricting parking and other scenarios. But the recommendation that we had come up with based on conversations and things that would be preferably a bit more permanent and wouldn't be affected by the change in travel restrictions when the project switches to the other way. So the recommendation in the letter is to install a do not block the box or intersection on Rice's Mill at Barker Road, and to also do a 3-way stop intersection at Deaver and Rice's Mill Road. We feel that especially given the site distance at Deaver, that it makes sense that would be a permanent change. So there is an ordinance in packet. That's your next item.
Mhm. Mhm.
For consideration. Last week, we also talked with the Traffic Calming Committee as well about some of these recommendations. I know Commissioner Rappaport came up with some other places where we should probably take a look at as well. So we appreciate that, and we'll add it to our list. I know we have had some conversations about speed cushions and other things. Those are changes, unfortunately, we couldn't make until spring anyway, when the weather warms up. But it is something that we will take a further look at as well. I know that our traffic safety unit has taken a look at it, and speed, unfortunately, is not the issue, or is fortunately not the issue. It's a lot of volume that really is the issue, but we will continue to take a look at that. So, Chief, I don't know if you have anything else to add, or anyone else on the call.
That's it in a nutshell. We I'd met several times in response to these complaints to try to come up with a workable solution. We involved our traffic engineer in this process as well. And as you see by the agenda minutes, there's several items that we'll be talking about. So hopefully these improvements will help alleviate some of the traffic congestion in the morning and the evening rush hour, is when the two are the two worst times actually for those locations. So everything seems to be in the works right now.
Great. Commissioner Rappaport, do you have anything that you want to add to this?
Well, I'd like to add just thank you very much for getting Bowman involved as well. I think these will help a bit. I think, I haven't stopped hearing from neighbors complaining. So the original chaos may have subsided a little bit, but it is a daily hazard to pedestrians and getting in and out of driveways. So it's still a disaster, and unfortunately, I think it still requires police presence pretty much at every rush hour. So there may be more to do, but thank you very much for this.
Okay, fantastic. Any other commissioners have any? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, Commissioner Cherko.
You're on mute.
You're on mute. Okay.
This may be a very naive question, so bear with me. But in light of the fact that a PennDOT project is causing much of this mess, is there any chance of recouping any sorts of money for this from PennDOT?
Allison?
We can certainly ask them. I know that they have mentioned that a lot of it is on us since that's our local roads, but we can absolutely talk to them about it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Cherko. All right, so this is not an item we have to vote on, I believe. This was just a proposal. So I don't see anything that we need to vote on. But we're going to move on to item 4B, which consider recommending the Board of Commissioners to authorize advertising and consider the adoption of an ordinance amending Chapter 285, Vehicle and Traffic, Section 285-43, Street and Parking Regulation of the Cheltenham Township Code to add a stop sign on Rice's Mill Road at Deaver Road, and they do not block the box on Rice's Mill Road at Barker Road, and that is attached. So any questions in reference to this particular item? This is just a follow-up from actually 4A. All right, so I call for the approval of item 4A, which is to adopt this ordinance. Mr. President?
Well, it's authorized advertisement of the ordinance.
Yes, the advertisement of the ordinance. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. All in favor of authorizing the advertisement and consider the adoption, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We're going to move on to item 4C. Consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve a 5-year contract with Exion Enterprises in the amount of $698,407.78 for the purchase of police body-worn cameras, in-car video system, virtual reality training equipment, tasers using assets forfeiture funds, and the township budget funds. And this is subject to a final review by our township solicitor. Chief, give us a little bit of some information about this item 4C.
I will. So, Mike, you want to start with the presentation first?
Yep. So give me 1 second here just to pull up my screen. Okay. Can everyone see the screen?
Not yet. There you go.
Yeah. Okay. No, thank you very much. Thank you, the chief. Yep. So just have a quick presentation. I'll try and be brief, but due to the dollar figure, we wanted to put something together to give a full picture to the commissioners and to the residents, to really go over this request in detail. This all started about 6 months ago, in collaboration with the police department and IT, really sitting down, looking at a strategic picture for our technology when it comes to our body worn cameras and in-car cameras, looking at different vendors, going through different quotes, having those discussions internally with staff. So just wanted to again thank the chief and his staff, Lieutenant O'Neill, Snyder, Schaefer, Sergeant Brewster, and Sergeant Francis, as well as Allison and Janice, for all the work to get to this point here tonight. So I'll kind of get into it. Just going over some key highlights. So again, looking to enter into a 5-year contract with Axon, for all of the equipment mentioned here below. The total value, of the contract, over the 5 years is the $698,000, change. And then we've secured savings off of the list price and discounting of approximately $409,000 as well. This would be for, at a high level view, 74 body cameras, refreshing them and at year 3 in the 5-year contract. So getting 2 sets of 74 body cameras, fleet in-car cameras, 25 of those. 13 of those 25 will have license plate reading technology. Currently, only one of our cars has that right now. As well as this would be for 25 new Taser 10s, including the various probes and equipment certification needed. As well as this includes the virtual reality training, which I'll highlight on that a little bit later, and some of the benefits of that, as well as moving to a cloud-based unlimited storage for our evidence. So understanding, we want to make sure you're aware of kind of where we're at today and why we're proposing something like this. So we have an on-premise server, so all of our body camera evidence is stored on site in the police department. That server will need to be replaced in the next couple of years. Again, there's a lot of costs in maintaining that equipment, and there's also a lot of risk if something were to happen and that evidence were no longer available. All of this equipment was purchased, originally 12 years ago. We've made some purchases along the way of various things, for body cameras that we purchased a couple years back. But originally, the in-car units are 12 years old. They're end of life. They can't be serviced anymore. And we did make purchases 3 years ago for body cameras, but we're already starting to see, critical battery failures. And that a piece of equipment like a body camera, we can't have failures with the battery. They need to be working when the officers are out in the field. The current company we have is WatchGuard, which was then purchased by Motorola. That purchase has experienced some various part delays in getting the parts that are needed, as well as really the customer support has been inadequate for the township. With the equipment, being up there in age, we've noticed that we've had to spend a lot more time between, myself, Sergeant Brewster, Lieutenant O'Neill, to try and fix this equipment. So a lot of staff hours are going into that, as well as money having to be put out to kind of do Band-Aid repairs to this equipment. Really what we're looking to do is move from a purchase model where we purchase cameras and then we own them, to more of kind of what you do with like an iPhone, where you're going to get it and you're going to lease it, and then you'll be able to get new ones. So as new things come out, as the batteries start to fail, you're not having to buy this equipment and now you have it and there's really nothing to do with it, except just pretty much use it till it dies. So that's really the model that we're looking to go to. So some of the improvements with this, really looking to align with what other police agencies across the county are doing. A lot of agencies around us are switching to Axon. So that has made it somewhat fortunate that we've been able to, beg, borrow, and steal some of their parts to help, supplement in the meantime. But long-term strategic thinking would push that we wouldn't want to be looking to borrow, other departments' old equipment to take that here. With the new equipment, You get something called signal technology, which means that, for example, if, since the tasers we currently have are Axon tasers, if they turn on their taser, it activates their body camera. If they open up the prisoner door on a car, it activates the rear camera. So you're putting more innovative, methods and using technology to help activate those cameras, so the officers don't have to do it manually. Again, as I mentioned earlier, we currently have one police vehicle that has license plate reading technology. Now you'll have 13 vehicles that have that. Brief example might be a vehicle right in front of an officer, could be stolen. The license plate could be in the system is stolen, but they would never know. But now that this camera is in their car, it would alert them that, the vehicle right in front of them could be a stolen vehicle. The new tasers, so they are more accurate. They have increased effectiveness as a less lethal piece of equipment that they carry. I'll let the chief or Lieutenant O'Neill go into more specifics on the taser side there, but also the standoff distance of the effective range of that has increased drastically. For virtual reality, so for training with the tasers, you're now able to use virtual reality training, which will then save time and money with the various. Every time you pull the trigger on a taser, it costs money. So being able to use virtual reality allows for the officers to, again, gain repetition using that equipment without having to necessarily spend dollars. They also have a lot of really amazing scenario-based training in de-escalation, crisis intervention, and much more. As well, so moving to an online cloud-based storage, what's particularly nice is that this is the particular product that our DA's office utilizes. So right now we have to take the information out of our system and then do a lot of manual work to then get it to the DA, where now we can have direct integration to the county DA's office to share information for cases. Again, eliminating, physical delivery and then all the, some time and personnel costs there in doing that. So obviously understanding, wanting to go over the fiscal impact here to the township and give some understanding. So currently the township in 2025 budgeted $45,000 between operating and capital. So, estimating if we were to do that for 5 years with no increases, that's $225,000 out of, the township operating or general fund, if you will. So what we looked at here and trying to, work this deal, understanding, where we are fiscally, knowing that 2026 was going to be a big year as the commissioners, asked us to see how we can pull things back and structure things a little bit differently here. So looking at the 5-year plan of what's coming from the general fund, what's coming from asset forfeiture, and then what that yearly cost looks like. And I can't highlight enough, to the chief and his team, being able to utilize the asset forfeiture money to really help benefit the township and the department and the residents while really understanding the fiscal picture and being fiscally responsible. So that's a very brief trying to go over this, but highlight all the key points. Happy to take questions. I know the chief or any of his team is available to answer questions as well.
If we could, just Lieutenant O'Neill, are you on? Okay. I just wanted to end the comment. We met with our instructors as well, our department instructors, to go over the new taser. It's a new piece of equipment. And we met with them. They showed us the capabilities of this, the virtual training aspect of it, as well as Mike had mentioned on that as well. And our instructors gave their evaluation, felt this would be a better next step level for our department as well. So we got their recommendation for this before we even moved forward on it. So I just wanted to let you know we've done our homework in-house as well to see how this would fit in for our department and what the benefits are for us.
Chief, I am here. I apologize. I was having a mute issue.
Okay, Joe, I just mentioned about our instructors meeting to review the product, to remove the new taser, to review it, the recommendations to the department, the virtual training aspect and component we touched on with the scenario-based stuff. Is there anything else you want to add with that?
No, I just think it's important to point out that it was based on the subject matter experts. They recommended us move to the new version of the taser. And it's clear that we need to do something about our current in-car video and body camera situation. We'd just like to thank Mike Rubin for his work with Axon to get us what appears to be a very good deal in talking to some of our peer agencies.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Mike, Chief. Commissioner Norris, I see your hand up.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Rubin, thank you for the excellent presentation, and Chief, thank you for the work that you put into this. So I have several questions actually. First, just a specific on the total cost, the 698,000. That first page, I guess I found confusing. Is the total cost 698? It mentioned $400,000 of savings.
Yes. So, yes, the total cost to the township would be $698,407.78. What that first slide was trying to represent is the discounting, the total value of all the product, licensing, etc. That, customer support, everything that we'd be getting for the next 5 years is technically over $1.1 million. Axon is, we've negotiated a very high discount. We've been going back and forth for quite some time with them to get to this number that we feel comfortable with today, but that is $409,000 in discounting off of the original price.
Okay, and I think it's Darius. Somebody in chat is asking that that screen be put back up. It might be helpful because I have one or two more questions.
Sure. Which screen would you like? The first one or the last one with the 5 year?
The last one.
Yep. Give me 1 second here.
Here's another question I think was answered in chat, but I still have a question on it. Where in our budget is this?
Right.
I think Ms. Solano was saying it's in the IT budget.
Yes, that's correct. So in the IT budget, there's a software line for police software, and that is where you'll see the general fund and what is coming out of the general fund. And obviously, the only thing that is budgeted right now would be 2026. This is obviously just the contractual numbers for the 5 years.
So it's in our operating budget, not capital?
That is correct, because it would be an operating cost year over year, not necessarily a one-time purchase. And as I mentioned, currently for 2025, we budgeted $45,000 between operating and capital.
Okay. And I think in your presentation, you referenced that we would be leasing this instead of purchasing it. So are these numbers that you're showing the annual lease costs?
Yes. So what this will do is we'll get the original set of body cameras, delivered, or, January, February of 2026. And then into year 3 of the contract, they send us another 74 body cameras and new docks. So the idea being that in the scenario that we're in, where 3 years ago we purchased body cameras and now the batteries are failing, we own them. So we can't just give them back and say, hey, give us new ones. That's where this deal not just takes care of the body cameras for the initial set, but then it gives us another set of body cameras, after year 3.
Okay. So there's certainly appropriate times to be leasing equipment, but I guess my concern is, or my question would be, when you're leasing, there's an implicit interest rate that's included. And therefore, I guess I often find that depending upon the value of the item that is being obtained, the value of it at the end of the lease, it's important to be factoring that in when you're making the lease purchase decision, because often you can use it beyond the 5th year or the end, whatever the end of the lease is.
Great point. And that's actually why we're only doing the refresh on the body cameras, because they're obviously worn every day and used and abused by the officers. We did decide not to do that for the in-car. We realized that, Axon offered, every 5 years, every contract to refresh that. And we said, well, we can definitely get more than 5 years out of our in-car. So the plan, because there is a plan for replacement, when we buy a new police car, it's a minor cost added to the upfit to get a new camera, but we'll do that. We'll basically, in year 7, we'll start to look at, as we buy new police cars, we'll put in the cost to the upfit for a new in-car camera. So yes, we do believe that it's well worth the dollars and cents for the body cameras due to the fact that they are used and abused every day by the officers. where the in-car cameras will definitely last more than 5 years, and it wouldn't be fiscally responsible to just refresh them just to refresh them.
So these numbers reflect our ownership of those cameras, our purchase of those cameras.
Yes. So after year three, we send the cameras back, we get new ones. And that's what the numbers that you're seeing here would show, which is obviously that is also in, standing with what a lot of other departments are doing. That's pretty much, the standard that I've seen across the board and speaking with a lot of different municipalities of what they're doing as well.
Okay. But as far as the in-car cameras, you were just saying we would be owning them and using them beyond the 5 years.
Yes, that is correct. And those numbers are in this price.
The purchase of those cameras. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. One last question, and it has to do with the asset forfeiture funds versus the township budgeted funds. And perhaps this is for the chief. I know in my general understanding, how it's been explained in the past, is the asset forfeiture funds are for, I'll say, non-typical items, non-usual, not general operating items. So I'm assuming that therefore these two pieces of equipment fall under the area where we can use asset forfeiture. But then my follow-up is, how did we decide the split between asset forfeiture and general fund? Is there more availability in the asset forfeiture?
There is additional funding to answer your question. I think that's where you're going with that. Is there additional funds available? There are. We also have some other purchases that we anticipate in the years coming, some large purchases, and that's been the basic use of this money. As you know, when we find a big item that we need to help save the township money, we'll use the asset forfeiture funds when we can. There are rules that apply to when we can use it and when we can't use it. Once we cut something, that puts us in a different position as well with, like, say, cars, for example. We cut the fleet on a car. There's a period after that where we won't be able to use asset forfeiture funding to buy new vehicles, say, for example. We have to exhaust, that for a number of years before we can go back to take a look at that one. So there are rules to that. We did do a preliminary check with that to make sure the rules will comply with this, that we're in compliance for using this for this large purchase. And we were given the okay to do that. So before we even present that, I would get the okay to do that. We've done that. And I'm not anticipating any other issues on that. Lieutenant O'Neill, is there anything else on that I'm not covering?
Yeah, just to be clear, we have to maintain the amount that we've been budgeting over the years. We can't use forfeiture to supplement that. We can only go up above that. So we can't replace, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yes.
So I believe there's 45,000 between operating and capital per year. So the township proportion has to be at least 45,000. The 400,000 number was originally less than that. Some things came up when we realized the opportunity for the VR headsets and training and how that could reduce liability and help training officers. So we actually had a staff decision to go up to 400,000. That 400,000 was where we felt comfortable contributing with all the other obligations that we have coming up and the other projects we're trying to achieve.
Thank you.
Thank you both for that additional explanation.
Thank you, Commissioner Norris. Commissioner Lewis, I see your hand.
Yes, thank you. First, thanks, Mike and Chief and Lieutenant O'Neill and all the folks that contributed to this information. Was there an RFP done for this? If not, how did we end up with Axon and why?
Yep. So we did not do an RFP. We are purchasing through a cooperative purchasing agreement. We did look at another vendor, our current vendor, and we did get pricing from them. We did discuss, between staff, what is the best decision strategically, with the equipment, long-term customer service, taking into account all different aspects of what would be the best product for us, over the next 5, 10, 15 years, and choosing a partnership with Axon, knowing that all of our communities surrounding us are signing agreements with Axon. It seemed like the most prudent, decision understanding what was going to be best for us.
Can you name some of those surrounding communities
So
that are part of this collaboration?
Yep. So Abington has them. Jenkintown has them. White Marsh just left Watch Guard and went to Axon. Upper Merion just left Watch Guard and went to Axon. Lower Merion, Rockledge, Philadelphia. Pretty much, I think everything immediately surrounding us, and many more in the county. Chief or Joe, if you'd like to, Lieutenant O'Neill, sorry, if you'd like to add any more, but those are the ones directly surrounding us.
Yeah, I mean, as Mike just said, that most of the large law enforcement agencies in the area are going to, if they were on Watch Guard, once Motorola bought them, they made the move to Axon, and that seems to be the standard. It also allows us to integrate with the district attorney's office to share evidence, as Mike earlier mentioned. So there's that benefit too.
Okay.
And one more thing, just to add to that, if let's say if we're on the same scene as an Abington officer, they activate their tasers or do some of those things that activate, Axon signal technology. So you could have an Abington officer, pulling out their taser, turning it on, and now it's turning on our body cameras. So again, having that integration between is quite amazing with what they're doing with the technology.
Okay, thank you. I have a few more questions.
Yes, go ahead.
So the general fund increased 13,000 from 26 to 27. What's the difference there?
Really just, having to work the numbers out, knowing that, that we wanted to look and be mindful of the tax increase this year and what we could do to get that lower and just make the numbers work. We did have one thing that came up with Axon in negotiations, more or less making the numbers, stretching it out in the last 4 years a little bit higher, which I think it's overall a $17,000 difference from the 45 that we currently are budgeting.
Okay. Asset forfeiture. That 80,000, is that guaranteed for those 5 years? Is there a possibility it could be less? And if so, where would the difference come from?
So this is the funds we have earmarked for that as of today. I have those funds as of today.
Yes,
Okay.
it's guaranteed,
So
Commissioner. It's guaranteed. We have it in the bank.
Yep.
Okay. All right, cool. Okay. With this solution, is there a annual maintenance, replacement, fix, repair costs?
So that is included in the cost. So the total yearly cost that you see includes maintenance support. If a camera gets damaged, we simply send it back to Axon, RMA it back to them. They send us a new one. Lieutenant O'Neill, I see you have your hand there.
Lease. So the lease goes to 30. Is there a buyout for any of these devices at the end of the lease?
No. So what for the body cameras specifically, because that's the component really that's on this lease, if you will. So we'll send the cameras back in 2028. We'll get a new set of cameras. They'll give us the newest model. So if we're, either we'll get the same ones back. If there's a newer model out, we'll get the newer ones, automatic. And then, at year 5 of this contract, we would decide whether or not we want to continue with Axon, or again, potentially switch depending on what that looks like. But, again, looking at that, we would have those cameras and we would own them. There is no buyout. At the end of the 5 years, that we would own the cameras at the end of the 5 years. That second set of cameras.
Okay. When would all of this happen?
They would.
Go ahead.
They would start shipment in January. They'd start shipping stuff out and coordinating with the police department. We would discuss the best method for rollout between the cameras, the in-car. For in-car, the Axon would send folks out. They would install them in all of our cars. And we would then do the training for the body cameras and the tasers. Axon's in this providing, I believe it's 5 train the trainers. So our officers would get trained here in Cheltenham of how to use the new tasers and then teach the fellow officers.
Thank you, Commissioner Brockington.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Lewis. I do have a question, Mr. Rubin. the old equipment that we have has no value. There's no trade-in value or anything like that on the old equipment.
I don't believe there's going to be great value. Again, we've been, as municipalities have been switching to Axon, we've been strategically trying to gather their old equipment, to keep our stuff going. So I don't really think that there's going to be great value, but Lieutenant O'Neill might be able to offer more to that, but I would say probably not, but we can always explore it. So if there is value, we will try and obtain it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I concur. We've been hoarding, to be quite frank, we've been hoarding everybody else's spare parts, knowing that some of our stuff is end of life, as most of the agencies have been moved to Axon. And while I have the floor, I just want to point out one thing. Our current vendor, WatchGuard Motorola, is starting to bill us for licensing that it never did before. So if we took no action today, we'd probably be talking about increasing that $45,000 in the near future either way.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. Commissioners, any other questions or concerns that you have? All right. Not seeing none. Oh, I'm sorry. My screen went black. Pardon. Just give me a second, guys. I apologize. All right, so we're going to move on to item 4C. We're going to call for the approval tonight. Let's vote on this consider recommending the Board of Commissioners approve their 5-year contract with Axion Enterprise. Mr. President?
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you. Thank you, Mike, Chief, and Lieutenant O'Neill. Thank you very much for your hard work on this. Move on to item number 5, which is Citizen Forum for Public.
Commissioner, if I could, I have one more item for new business.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry.
Sorry. I just wanted to let everyone know about our testing announcement. Once again, we're getting back into the testing business again. It seems like we've been doing this constantly. We'll be offering a new entry-level exam on January 31st. And it'll be that Saturday. It'll be the one testing day format where we do the physical component of it and the written component of it at Cedarbrook Middle School. We're working with the school district. We got the approval to use their building again. That seemed to work out very well last time. I sent it all to you individually. The announcement, we have it on our website. We're going to be loading it onto the township website, so it's an easier link for that. We'll be working with Lauren on that. I want to hit all the advertising channels that I've hit in the past. Churches, schools, military, everyone I can, but I need your help as well. If you know anybody, any of your constituents that are interested in pursuing a career in law enforcement, we have a great opportunity right here in Cheltenham. Please encourage them to apply. And I'll do our end as well with getting that word out with the advertising. We're going to hit that full blast. I'm trying to get ahead of some other agencies that are also planning some testing. I talked to my cohorts and explained that we'll be testing at the end of January to lock in that date, but everybody's going to be testing again right around that time period. So I want to try to beat them to the punch really with that date. That's why we selected January date, not an ideal date. We do have plans in the event that the weather does go south on us. We can come up with a plan B. Keeping my fingers crossed, me and the weather with this. I want Ken's Dome to come over and protect us again for that, right? Anyway, I'm looking forward to this. I'm always looking for quality candidates that we can add to our department. And I said, any resident listening like that, if you have someone that's interested, please steer them our way.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you very much. Any other items for new business for tonight? Okay, so now we'll move on to item 5, which is Citizen Forum for Public Safety. We can open it up for any citizen. Raise your hands and we'll call on you, and you will have 3 minutes. Not seeing anybody. All right, so I'm calling for the adjournment of tonight's public safety meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.